other conferences, but still, I think that's pretty impressive. Definitely the best High Point's ever done.
Looking forward to them making the tournament. It's unfortunate how it turned out at the end, but it almost happened. It would have been cool.
It would have been really cool. I wouldn't have even cared if we lost in the first round. Like, just making it there is pretty cool.
Yeah, it would have been cool, having
Sure.
maybe them, NC State, if they could do kind of like what NC State did. It's a more of an underdog team, go a little further, somehow makes March Madness. Barely make it in because they won the conference, and then they go further. That'd be freaking cool, man.
Oh yeah. Well, if we compare that, let's look at NC State's schedule. You guys had an incredible run, especially towards that tournament you guys were in to make it into March Madness. You won by a buzzer beater against, believe, Virginia, correct?
Yeah, it was Virginia. That was pretty cool. 5 games in 5 days, won all of them. Beat Virginia, beat UNC, beat Duke. It was pretty good week.
Yeah.
Beat Syracuse too, unfortunately, man. I was real
Yeah,
upset that you beat Syracuse.
Syracuse is bad, man. They didn't have a good season.
They'd have a better season than State, man. Okay.
They,
They weren't doing.
yeah, I mean,
I was
did, but
watching that
they
game
lost
and
the
really
game.
rooting for Syracuse, but it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, no, Syracuse,
It,
not a great season.
it kind of reminded me
I
of
know you're
High
a big
Point,
fan of Syracuse, Alex. I'm sorry they didn't make it. Maybe next year.
So,
It's okay.
you know,
Maybe next year Syracuse will be good.
yeah, you can have an amazing season and win all these games, but if you don't win the games that matter, it doesn't really matter, you know? That's kind of what happened with High Point. We were only lost like I think 4 games, so
And
leading up to it.
what's the exact record? Most undefeated game streak this
No,
season?
longest win streak
Longest
in
win
all of
streak.
college basketball. Yeah.
That's pretty
So
impressive, man.
if I look back on it, our first game was against Pfeiffer. We won.
Yeah.
Then we beat St. Andrews. We
Mhm.
lost by 1 point to Wofford. We lost to Queen's University. Then we won against Iona. Beat Illinois. Hastroff. We lost. Then we win, lose to University of Georgia, and then this is where the win streak I think starts. First with UNC Greensboro, we win. Kansas, we win. I'm probably butchering these colleges'
You're
names.
fine.
I
Keep it up, man.
apologize. Bellarmine University, we win. Radford, we win. Gardner Webb, UNC Asheville, Presbyterian, Charleston Southern, University of South Carolina Upstate, we win. We beat Winthrop, we beat Longwood, then we beat Presbyterian again, and then we at that point, let's count how many it was. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in a row. And then we lost to UNC Asheville.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Some of those teams are not the worst. A couple of them are pretty.
And then you lost to Upstate, man.
Yeah, that Upstate, man. You gotta watch
Yeah,
out.
losing to Upstate, that was honestly pretty embarrassing considering they were one of the, worst teams in our conference. But
Well, it's pretty competitive conference, man.
100%.
Yeah.
What about with NC State? You guys didn't really have your get your wind of things until the very end of the season, which is when it counted, and then you made it all the way to the Final Four. I
Yeah, it
think
was
that's
pretty crazy.
cool.
Won a game in OT. A couple games we lost were just barely, but of course the games we won were also just barely. So it was like just barely skirting by. And then lost to Syracuse a couple times during the main season, but we beat them in the tournament, which is all that matters. Sorry,
You know what's
Alex.
crazy?
That is true. Syracuse, we beat State twice, and then when it counted, we choked. It's unfortunate, but
Syracuse is a choke team, man.
That is not true, man. Okay, next year, man. Next
year.
year's the season of Syracuse, man. We're on to win next year.
Hey, man, their women's team did good this year.
They did.
I know you watch
did.
a lot of female basketball.
I was rooting for them,
Caitlin
man.
Clark.
I love Syracuse women's basketball.
Yeah, I know. All right, you ready to move on to some NFL stuff, man?
Yeah, let's go right ahead, jump right into it. So, first in the offseason, what was the most impressive and shocking move, do you guys think?
I think what you have on the docket is probably the most interesting to me, in my opinion, the Kirk Cousins trade.
Oh yeah, I agree. Kirk Cousins or pick up in free agency. I don't think it was a trade, but still, it was pretty fucking cool. I probably shouldn't say that, but
You're fine. Just edit it out, man. Just edit this out.
yeah, Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons. How do you think that's going to affect the Panthers next year? The Panthers really struggled, and now they're going to have an even harder time playing against
Uh,
Kirk Cousins.
before Alex goes, I know he's a really big Panthers fan. I really like this trade. I think Kirk Cousins maybe going on a new team after so long, and he was at Minnesota for a few years. I think he can. Maybe some
And
change will be
Washington
nice.
for a little bit.
Maybe some changes will be nice. Maybe he can finally, get some games to deserve that salary he's getting paid. But it's
he's getting paid a lot, man, to
Yeah.
try to carry the mediocre Falcons team who spent all their first-round picks on offensive talent but still suck.
Yeah, but
$180 million.
I do think the Panthers, with Bryce Young, are going to have, even more of an uphill battle now that their conference has got a little bit harder.
And especially without a first round pick.
What do you think, Alex?
I think it'll be fine, man. I'm not worried. I'm more worried the Buccaneers did better last year than the Falcons. And Kirk Cousins kind of washed up getting paid a ton. They can't pay anybody else. I'm not too worried
Kyle
about
Pitts
it, to be
can
honest.
finally get the ball.
Especially
Kyle,
in the long term, like short term, it might boost them a bit. I'm sure Kirk Cousins will be better than Desmond Ritter,
What?
but I'm sure Kirk Cousins would be better than Desmond Ritter, but he's not gonna make a super good playoff team. I don't think he couldn't do that with the Vikings. I'm not sure how it would change now.
yeah. I think the Falcons have a really solid offense. Just, they were missing that quarterback piece. They didn't do too hot with Taylor Heineke or Desmond Ritter. And, I think this is going to be a big upgrade for them. Kyle Pitts finally getting some balls, thrown his way. I think this is going to be a great year for the Falcons. Bijan Robinson, like everyone on that team is pretty good. So
I am like super excited. I haven't heard anything from the Falcons in a few years. Kirk Cousins, he's coming off of an injury, but I think it'll be good. I'm really excited.
yeah. What other draft signings or free agency signings did you think were pretty significant that you guys want to touch up on?
I think Saquon Barkley is a pretty big one, man. The
Oh,
Eagles need some boosts, and Saquon kind of I feel like his talents are wasted on the Giants a bit. So the Eagles have him, especially
Dude, Giants fans are not happy right now. They feel betrayed.
And
I mean, it's their own fault. They didn't want to pay him. So.
And it's official that Travis Kelce's brother, Jason Kelce's out, right?
Yes, he is officially retired.
Yeah, so
unless he pulls the Tom Brady or something.
I don't think it's gonna happen. He's pretty beat up, but I think they took out the small piece of the O line. I think maybe adding this in the back line will be pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can definitely replace him. I mean, obviously he's like a Hall of Fame center. He's going to be.
Yeah.
But I feel like center is one of the easiest positions to find in the draft, so I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. I cannot name a single center other than Jason Kelce, and I love football. Like, can either of you name a center, just a center in the NFL without looking anything up that isn't Jason Kelce?
Bradley Bozeman, because you're the center of the Panthers. That's the only reason I know his name.
You're a huge Panthers Syracuse fan, man. That's pretty awesome. You like the Eagles too sometimes, don't you? Are you sad about Kelce leaving?
You don't like the Eagles, dude.
I don't like the Eagles, man. You're actually crazy,
Alex
man.
loves the Eagles, I thought. My bad, man.
You're trying to slander my name.
I'm sorry, man.
Dang.
All right.
There's one thing you should know about Alex. He does not like the Eagles.
True, yeah. But speaking of teams we like, you're a big Commanders fan, dude. And they had a pretty crappy season this past season. Ferris, what do you think about that?
I am so excited for this upcoming season. We have the number 2 overall pick in the draft.
Yeah,
we made a ton of moves in the offseason. Granted, most of them are like people who are really good like 4 years ago and who are kind of washed now, but they're still a huge upgrade to what we had.
It's better than what
Commanders were pretty trash. So a bunch of washed up players, but with proven success. We got a new head coach. We got new owners. It's like a whole redo of our team, and I'm here for it. We still have, Scary Terry over here, Terry McLaurin, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but not Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase good, but you know, um, I think Terry McLaurin just hasn't really had a chance to shine, and having this new quarterback will definitely give him an opportunity. I think honestly we might be able to win the division this year. May just be a delusional fan, but I think we're going to be way more competitive and
Crazier stuff has
have a
happened, man.
much better
I don't think you're
season.
wrong for being hopeful about how good the Commanders could be this season. What do you think, Alex?
I think they made some pretty good signings. I don't like some of the players I know
Like
from the
Frankie
Panthers. They signed.
Louvu.
They got both Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin,
Yeah.
pretty good players.
How do you feel
Honestly,
about
I was
Frankie
I
Louvu?
was
He was on the
sad to
Panthers,
see him go.
so I bet you're upset
Yeah,
losing him.
he's pretty good. Not gonna lie, he's a very underrated player. I think the reason that he didn't get signed because he ended up wanting like a lot at the end, but it's kind of worth it honestly. He played pretty well. He's a pretty good leader on the defense, and
Who was the other
he
player you
he
lost?
rushed the ball.
Brian Bonds or Brian Burns? Brian Burns, yeah.
Don't say Brian Bonds. No, Brian Burns. Yeah, he went to the
The
Giants.
Giants,
Kind of
right?
an unfortunate trade. We got offered two first rounds like 2 years ago for him. We traded him for a second round. Kind of
Now you don't
unfortunate,
even
but then
have a
again,
first round this year.
he's kind of getting I mean, the second round pick is still going to be a big help, and he's getting paid a lot by the Giants. He wanted a lot more than I think he's worth because he's good. I'm not discounting that he's
Yeah,
good, but he's like on the outside of like top five pass rushers, I think, and he's getting paid like the best pass rusher in the league by the Giants. So, and he's only had one season with 10 or more sacks. That might be the Panthers' fault. Maybe he'll do better in the Giants. We'll see.
yeah.
He
But
can't do worse, man. I really I don't I would be more hopeful than you're being, man. Know what I mean?
oh no, I'm just kind of bitter about it because I'm a Panthers fan.
Yeah, I know you're a huge Panthers fan. You got season
Yeah.
pass to the Panthers games, don't you?
I do. I watch all their games. And Browners are my favorite players.
You got tons of merch too, man. Alex has got tons of
Hey.
Panthers merch.
I have a Brian Burns jersey, and I also bought a DJ Moore jersey. All my favorite players get traded
Dude,
away.
all the players that don't play anymore.
Speaking of somebody that got
Uh,
traded
yeah.
and ended up doing better on his team, y'all see Baker Mayfield's re-signing with the Buccaneers?
Yeah, dude, he put up one hell of a season this past year, especially in the postseason, beating the Eagles. I know the Eagles were doing amazing in the beginning of the season, but then they kind of fell off and started losing towards the end. And yeah, they were downhill, but at the
Yeah, they couldn't
first
bring it
10
back during the
games of the
playoffs.
season, they were like undefeated. And I think that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive,
Yeah.
especially for Baker Mayfield, like who was on the hot seat. He was on a 1-year deal, and he may have been out of the NFL even if he didn't perform. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Like you
happy
said,
They
for
did
him.
pretty well, to be honest. I wasn't expecting anything from the Buccaneers, especially I don't think Baker Mayfield was going to push the needle at all because he played pretty badly the previous
Oh,
year. But
you know what we have to
Buccaneers
talk
used to
about?
know. What?
Russell Wilson.
I'm excited about
Russell
Wilson, man.
Wilson and Justin Fields, both going to the Steelers. They got a bang for their buck. Both of them are paying them about $1 million for 1 year. Russell Wilson is supposed to be starting, but that could change. And he was a Super Bowl quarterback, and now he's just not the same guy. I don't know what changed, but
I mean, he's
um,
older. I don't think he's as washed as people are making him out to be. I really do think like the Buccaneers fiasco, not the Buccaneers. I'm sorry, the Broncos. Like what they did, the whole fiasco with that was like kind of annoying. But I think the Broncos would be better off without him. I think he might be better off than the Steelers than he was in the Broncos. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think he's a bit of an older player, and he had to learn how to play differently as he wasn't able to use his physical ability as much because he got older. I think, and then the Broncos weren't like the best team for that. I think Mike Tomlin will probably use him a lot better. So I'm
also
excited.
Sean.
I'm a big Steelers fan. Probably my second favorite team behind the Panthers. So I'm excited for that,
Yeah,
and
I
maybe
forgot Alex
Justin
likes the
Fields
Steelers.
eventually.
I know Sean
How do you forget that,
Payton
man?
and
Everyone's good.
Russell Wilson had some beef and they didn't get along too great. Do you think that had something to do with it? Especially like towards the end of the season, they benched him. Like, and the backup, I forget who it was, put up pretty similar numbers. So as
Yeah,
Russell
but even
about to
before that,
get,
Russell Wilson had a bad season. But with all,
yeah. And the Broncos lost so much money. They lost like over, I think let me fact check this real quick, but I believe somewhere around $100 million in dead cap that they just don't get back. They
Dang.
still owe Russell Wilson that money, and
I didn't know it was that
yeah,
much. That's crazy.
they traded for him and they signed him to a massive deal and nothing came of it. So
yeah, they
kind of
lost
unfortunate
so
trade for
much. Let's look up this Russell Wilson trade deal. See everything they lost. That's um with the Seahawks back in the day. So I think the Seahawks definitely won that trade.
Oh yeah.
Um, they lost. So let's see with the. I will edit this part out when Russell Wilson, Seahawks.
So you're editing this part out?
Yes, I'm just
When's
looking
this thing
it
doing?
up.
50 minutes?
No, it's okay. That
I love the Steelers, man. I love the Steelers.
I didn't know Alex is a big Steelers fan. That's really interesting.
I realized I said
okay.
that
So so
because
here's
I
what.
realized the alley oop you gave me with the Eagles thing, and I was like, damn, I just said I love the Eagles. I couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
I just hate the Eagles that much.
Yeah, that's
I did it
so
on
okay.
purpose. Steelers.
All right. Wait,
So let's get back to it.
and we're
So
back.
here's what the Broncos got. The Broncos got Russell Wilson and a fourth round pick. The Seahawks got Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, a first round pick, a second round pick, a fifth round pick, the number 5 pick overall, and the number 37 pick overall. Which those picks were Boy Mafe, Tyreek Smith, Devon Witherspoon, and Derek Hall. And the
That's insane.
Russell Wilson is all that the Broncos got. And they lost for like I think 5 years or something they were supposed to have him, and they only used him for two
Yeah.
and lost $100 million out of
Yeah.
it.
I, I
So
I'm not the biggest football fan. I just got into it recently, but I can only imagine like all the people who were saying how bad of a trade that was back then, how vindicated they are now. Because that's ridiculous.
yeah, that is insane.
They
So
also got credit value for it because
the
Geno
Steelers
Smith
got
is
crazy.
probably played better than Russell Wilson has over the last few years, and nobody expected that. That's good
Yeah.
players. Like Devon
And
Witherspoon is a really good player. They got
yeah.
him and then other stuff too.
You
Man.
know.
And Sam Howell's on the Seahawks now too. He just got traded.
Yeah, that's pretty
We
interesting.
traded
I wonder how if he's gonna
um
fare any better. I know you're a big Sam Howell fan, man. Commanders.
oh
If
yeah,
he was on
I
the
love
Commanders,
Sam
you gotta
Howell.
stick with him.
So
I
we traded a
remember,
fifth round and a
honestly,
seventh round
yeah, that's really
and got a
exciting. Him being
third
sorry,
and a fifth. Oh, you're good.
nah, yeah, him being on the Seahawks is really exciting because I remember you specifically saying that he could probably be the next Patrick Mahomes, and I think him being traded onto the Steelers, sorry, the Seahawks, is gonna propel him to be that, you know,
Sure,
top
they got a new
top
I
coach,
tier
was
man.
quarterback.
I was a little
He could.
delusional. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think he's actually the next Patrick Mahomes, but I was like, he's really good. Those first 2 games were really good, and then we won 2 more games the rest of the season.
It happens. All right, y'all ready to move on to the Raiders
Oh
quarterback?
yeah. So the Raiders. Yeah, they got Gardner Minshew, right? Or
Yeah,
no, they
yeah,
lost. Yeah, yeah. Gardner Minshew from the Colts.
yeah.
I love that dude. He's like a borderline, he's like a little bit better than a backup,
Mm.
but not quite as good enough to be like a full-on starter, if that makes sense. So I guess what he got paid, kind of checks out for 2 years for 25 million, you know. I think
It's fun
that's going to be
time.
good for the Raiders, who they really excel in defense, but um, with Max Crosby and everything, but they didn't do so well in the offense. So I think that's a good move for them.
I think he's the exact opposite of Jimmy G, man. He's
Jimmy
not a very consistent.
Garoppolo.
He's not a very consistent quarterback. but he's a lot more fun than Jimmy G is, man. That's what he
Oh
is.
yeah, and he's got that sexy mustache too.
True.
He
Like,
does, man. He's a fun quarterback.
Yeah. I'm
oh
excited.
yeah,
One of my best friends is a Raiders fan, and it's just kind of disappointing. So I think maybe every little bit of help they can get, I think it's gonna be really welcome in Vegas.
oh yeah. The Raiders are kind of like Washington. We haven't been good since before we were born.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
I know none of us are big Patriots fans, but they did get a new signing.
they got Jacoby Brissett, who was on the Commanders last year for a 1 year deal, but Jacoby Brissett was also originally on the Patriots, so they got him back. He was the backup to Tom Brady, so they have him again for 1 more year. And what's funny is whenever they benched Sam Howell, uh, we were down by I think 24 points. He brought it all the way back to a 2 point game. And then he got injured. And so then Sam Howell had to go back in and he fumbled the bag and lost us the game.
Yeah.
So Jacoby Brissett was supposed to start and then um he got injured and so
Then are you a big Jacoby Brissett fan? Being
Hey,
a
he's on
state fan?
state team, but so was freaking
he was on the Browns I
Russell
think
Wilson.
last year though, right?
Russell Wilson was, but then he transferred to I think Utah.
Lane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Russell Wilson was on NC State.
Yeah, so was Jacoby. Pretty exciting stuff. Y'all
Yeah,
good to
I did
move
not.
to the Browns signing?
Yeah. Uh
So Winston,
Jameis Winston.
Mr. 30 TDs, 30 interceptions himself.
Yeah.
Dude,
Listen,
I
man.
mean, he gets the points. He
He does
just
get the
gives them.
points. He does get the points. He
Hey,
also
if
gives
your
them.
defense is good, you can maybe you can afford that. But I
Well, the
don't think
Browns did
that's
pretty
really
good this
good.
past
They
season.
do have a good defense.
You
Yeah, the
know, so
problem
I
is
think what's
they
fun,
have Deshaun Watson as their quarterback. Man, it's kind of a interesting interesting thing. They're paying him a lot. He's kind of underperformed
I
for how
think
much they
what's
paid.
more interesting is Tyrod Taylor on the Jets because Zach Wilson, there was all this hype about with the Jets getting Aaron Rodgers this year. I remember the opening game for the Jets. There was like this 15-minute intro for Aaron Rodgers before the game. Everyone was so excited. He ran out holding the American flag, running across the field. Everyone's chanting, Aaron Rodgers, Rodgers, like
Yeah.
I don't know. And everyone is so hyped. The first no, the fourth play of the game, he gets a season-ending injury. And then they're back to Zach Wilson, who was not very good at all this year and probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. He was a complete fumble. Number 2 overall pick, and he just did not pan out very well. I think that's pretty funny. And now they're signing Tyrod Tyrod Taylor, who is like pretty much a slightly better Zach Wilson,
Yeah,
which
I'd
is
agree
not
with that.
saying much, not saying much at all.
Yeah,
But
I'm excited. Again, the Jets are like such a meme in the NFL. You know, maybe
Yeah, they
maybe
just
he'll
get
get
let
hurt again
down
too.
every year. They're like,
Yeah.
"This is our year. This is our year."
Yes, I don't
Some,
want to hype them up
some,
too much and curse them, but I don't know.
yeah.
It's exciting. You never
I
know.
I don't know. The Jets are a fun team, especially with Aaron Rodgers finally coming back. They can, I don't know if he'll be the same after the injury. He's getting kind of old too, so we'll see
I
what
was
he can
listening to
put
a
up this year.
podcast that he was on, and it was he's having
Pat
a
McCaffrey.
pretty tough go at recovery, but I think he'll be able to play this season. I just don't know if he'll be able to sprint down the field. I think he's gonna have to start passing more than he used to.
Mm. Well, he can throw that ball pretty far,
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, they have a questionable offensive line, which I think is not a very good recipe for success. But if they can figure it out on offense, they have a good defense already. So we'll see. And they have good weapons too. So
yeah,
That's
they got
definitely
Garrett Wilson. He's pretty good. So
they have to show up their offensive line. Their offensive line is pretty bad.
yeah, that's
Or the reason they
I
got
feel
hurt in
like
the
that's a
first place.
theme with a lot of teams that are pretty bad. Panthers, Jets, Commanders, Patriots, all bad O line.
But this It's true.
It's
Maybe.
comical how bad the O-line is for the Panthers. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Hey, the Panthers
supposed
signed an O-line for $100 million for 5 years. I forget his name, but I think he was on the Dolphins, so he must be pretty good.
Alex, you know that one?
Um,
You know what he's talking about?
It's Robert Hunt.
Yeah.
He's a guard. He's pretty
Yeah.
good. I don't know. It would definitely get better. Like coming into this season, they're supposed to be good, and kind of like everyone regressed a bit. There's a lot of injuries, but I don't know.
so
There's good pieces there. If they can put it together, I think they can be decent.
which trade do you think was worse? The Panthers with the Bears trading DJ Moore and two first round or back in the two first round picks to get Bryce Young when they could have gotten CJ Stroud, who had a killer season this year. But they chose Bryce Young and then lost DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey technically from that, and or the Russell Wilson. I
Uh,
think it's still Russell Wilson.
Definitely Russell Wilson. Listen, the Panthers trade is looking bad right now, and giving up offensive talent like DJ Moore before you're about to draft a quarterback is a pretty questionable choice. I feel like they're gonna add players for that because we traded just before that we traded away McCaffrey and then we traded away DJ Moore. I think it's kind of questionable, but like I don't know. It still has a chance to work out. Maybe Bryce Young could still potentially be good. He said the thing about CJ Stroud, but everyone was like, when there's rumors that the Panthers might draft CJ Stroud, and they're considering it. Everyone called the Panthers dumb for thinking about drafting Stroud instead. So
Did he have the best? Did he have the?
Stephon-
Was he the best rookie quarterback this past season? They won a
CJ
playoff
Stroud,
game or two.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
CJ
Yes.
Stroud, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
that's too
he won a playoff game, so that's pretty impressive.
I didn't know that was for
And
good
then
or not.
lost
And
to the Ravens.
they have Diggs now, so they have a pretty
Yeah,
good
Stephon Diggs,
team.
that's huge. Stephon Diggs, granted, I know he wasn't doing great towards the end of the season. I think he only had one touchdown in the last like 8 games, but before that, he was like definitely a top 5 receiver.
Yeah, I mean, even if he's not quite there at this point, there's also other talented receivers on the team.
Yeah.
So
I think the
yeah,
Bears
pretty
next
fun.
year are going to be, getting Caleb Williams and they have 2 first-round
That's
picks.
not official
Oh.
yet, man. That's not official yet.
It's pretty.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It could not happen, man.
It's
What
pretty
if they
agreed
draft-
upon
It
that
could
Caleb
potentially not
Williams.
happen. Go on
But
FanDuel
they
right
draft
now and you'll see the
man.
odds. But
I think it's like minus 10,000.
They bring a little
something
man.
crazy. I'm so upset. I bet money that Caleb Williams wasn't gonna be the first person to be drafted, but that was before the Fields thing. So
I
Oh,
did too.
yeah.
I did too.
yeah, so it completely ruined my bet.
How much did
But
you
it's fine.
bet?
Oh, like
I
$5.
think
It
stick
wasn't a
with
lot.
Fields, but
Yeah.
It was like the
So-
day or two before. I was like, oh, this is definitely not happening now. It already probably wasn't gonna happen, but now it's definitely not.
Yeah.
All right, what do you
Well,
think? What do you think about Tyler going to the Browns? Did we already talk about that?
Honestly, we did Tyrod Taylor. I have all the quarterbacks in this section listed right here, but I think there's more significant moves that we could talk about,
Yeah.
other signings. What other ones stuck out to you? I mean, I know Josh Jacobs went to the Packers, so that's pretty cool.
pretty good.
I
That-
love so
He's a pretty good player.
I had him on my fantasy team this past season. Josh Jacobs, great running back, and I think the Packers are gonna really love that.
Yeah. I know y'all don't care, but I have a lot of friends that are Steelers fans, so I just have to say the Mason Rudolph trade is being overhyped so much. He won like one game to with all the Ravens backups, and people were hyping him up way too much.
Yeah,
Mr.
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, now he's on the Titans.
Hey, it's a 1-year deal for the Titans.
That's funny, man. Listen, Titan fans have to hook on to something, man. They had a quarterback they drafted like 2 others, and they not did anything. So they have to have their hope, man. They have to have their.
Have to.
The only thing I remember about Mason
I-
Rudolph is the fight he got in with Miles Garrett. That's about the only thing.
Do y'all think that the Titans are the worst in their conference? Or the Colts?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. That's
They
gonna be
have a,
tough.
they probably have a, they're better. They're probably like closer to the Colts like right now, but I think the Colts have a brighter future.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel bad because like the Jaguars just barely didn't make it to the playoffs this season, and then the Texans have C.J. Stroud, so it's gonna be tough to kind of break out of that.
Yeah.
Lot of-
Let's see what other moves were pretty big. I know Calvin Ridley got signed for the Titans. How do you feel for 4 years, 92 million for the wide receiver? Like, I don't know. I think at first the Jaguars fans are probably like, "No, we lost Calvin Ridley." And then they're like, "Oh, you're paying him that much, you can have him." I feel like that's how people feel. Like
They
they're
definitely
definitely
overpaid
overpaying
for a
him.
pretty like. He was hyped a lot going into the season, but he didn't. I don't think he really did that much on the Jaguars. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
like
definitely
he's
a good
good,
player,
but
but 23 million is a lot for him. We'll
yeah,
see.
92 million, not 23 million.
I mean, maybe he takes a step up this year because he didn't play football for like 2 years because of the gambling stuff. I think so.
No, you're right.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why he got off to a slow start last season. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, he'll be able to re-up. He's still a young guy. I think if he can go in, maybe. I don't know. Titans aren't horrible,
Der-
you know. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
have more
Derrick
weapons like they
Henry,
got.
Derrick
Yeah,
Henry
Derrick Henry-
got signed with the
Derrick-
Ravens.
Derrick Henry was their whole identity for a long time. It's kind of going to be.
Yeah, really.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm excited for him to be on the Ravens. I'm not really a Ravens fan anymore, but I used to be when I was a kid, and it's just such a fun team to watch with Lamar Jackson and all the fun stuff going on in Baltimore. I think it's gonna be a great addition.
I kind of have some like not hatred towards the Ravens, but like
You're from
I don't
around there,
know.
man. You're from Maryland.
I'm from Maryland originally, and like I don't know. There's a little bit of a rivalry between Commanders and Ravens, but I don't
I
have
love
any
how
ill will
even back
towards
then when you
them.
were a kid, you could choose. Okay, am I gonna do the Ravens or the Commanders? You chose the Redskins.
Well, they were the
back when
Redskins
they were the
back then.
Redskins.
You chose
and they're,
the you
and they're
chose
still
the
bad.
wrong one,
And they're
man.
still bad
Hey,
10 years later.
I didn't choose them. I was raised that
Oh,
way.
okay. Should have been the contrarian,
You
man.
could have been different and quirky,
Yeah.
man.
You could be a
Chose a
Joe
different team.
Flacco fan, man. That would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, Joe Flacco got signed to the Colts. That reminds
Oh, he
me.
did? I didn't know that, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Um.
I really
love
enjoyed
So
watching
I'm
him.
excited
man.
for Joe Flacco. I'm a big Joe Flacco fan.
Yeah.
Speaking of like
Those
Ravens,
4 games he
I
had on the
love watching
Browns were
Joe
pretty
Flacco.
fire. And then
Yeah, except
he
against
got
the
like
Texans.
2 or 3 pick sixes against the. Oh man.
In the
Yeah, it was
playoffs,
pretty
yeah.
bad, but
And the first half was pretty good though.
Yeah, that was.
I
I think
will
me and
say.
was it us
Yeah,
three
it
that
was.
watched, or was it just
Yeah,
me and you,
me-
Hunter?
Or
Alex.
Alex or
but
Yeah.
all 3 of us, I think.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we all watched. We
My
all
bad.
watched that game, and then we watched the horrible Chiefs Dolphins game. That was really
Oh yeah.
cool.
I was. Oof,
Yeah.
that was a crazy night. But all right, if y'all are good, we can move to like maybe just like some draft stuff.
Yeah, do you wanna?
We're at about 33 minutes, so if we move some draft stuff, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna look over this mock draft. This might be a little outdated, but let's see what this mock draft, the first link has. So they think that Minnesota Vikings are going to trade with Arizona because the Vikings need a quarterback, and it's projected that the first 4 picks are all going to be quarterbacks. And so I kind of agree. That makes sense to me. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be with Minnesota or if it's going to be, or Minnesota's going to trade with Arizona or if they're going to trade with the Chargers. But I think they definitely need a top 5 pick.
I think both teams could definitely trade down. It makes sense for both of them to do that
Yeah.
because both teams need a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this mock draft has Caleb Williams going number 1. Number 2, it has Drake May. Honestly, I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels, but
I think it would be
And
pretty
you-
funny to watch Drake May go to the dang Commanders because I hope
I
it's
think
not gonna
it'd be funny too.
It might be a repeat of freaking. He's a better player than
Howell.
Sam Howell, but it would be funny if it's like the exact same deal. They both come from Carolina to go to the Commanders, and both don't perform well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
was kind of
McCain
hoping
overtaken.
it was Drake May earlier on before I knew they traded Sam Howell. I know Sam Howell and Drake May are like actually best friends and
Oh, in
they
real
like
life,
text
that's
all the
cool.
time. Yeah, in real life.
That's
There's
cool.
they played on this at the same time
Yeah,
together and they still talk apparently. So
that's cool.
I thought it'd be cool for them to be on the same team again in the NFL, but like realistically, I want Jaden Daniels. I want an LSU quarterback. They typically are pretty good. If you look at Joe Burrow, we could have the next Joe Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow isn't
You
Joe Burrow like
name
one of the
you
best
name you named the one LSU quarterback that wasn't a bust. Just saying.
Yeah, I did.
But
But
I think the Commanders are overthinking it. To be honest, I think Drake May is definitely talented. He
yeah,
has less experience than Jaden Daniels, so he's I think he's got a little more inconsistent tape, which is why people say that. But I think he's overall more talented.
yeah, and he's a
And
big dude. He's 6'4".
if he gets passed on, especially the Patriots, they have a pretty good coaching staff.
Yeah.
They could
They
look
don't
like
have
a
Bill
not
bad team in the
not
Belichick
future.
anymore.
anymore.
Not anymore.
They still have a bunch of good
I don't
coaches
know,
from
man. I watched a
Bill
documentary on
Belichick.
like basically all of like Bill Belichick's disciples, like everyone he trained up to be coaches for other head coaches for other teams. Like none of them worked out. Literally none of them.
You
That
know,
is true.
I
That is true.
and nobody even hired Bill Belichick this
Why
year, like
would they,
as a
man?
coach. Well, everyone was saying there's like debate whether he's the best coach of all time or not. Like, I think he may have just been carried by Tom Brady, if I'm being honest. Like, he hasn't been
Yeah,
putting up
I
those
think
same kind of
I think
numbers.
watching
He had
him.
one playoff receipt and he got destroyed by the Bills like pretty badly. He made
Yeah,
one playoff
yeah.
appearance
I think
since Tom Brady left.
watching Tom Brady's performance at the Buccaneers versus Bill Belichick's like career after he left. I think you can kind of tell which one was helping out the other.
Yeah.
Listen, I think
Uh,
I think that's kind of BS. I think they're both good players, and they both kind of needed each other to succeed. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, not both good players, one good coach, good player, but Bill Belichick didn't do too well afterwards. But I think he was definitely still coaching well. The defense was good. They had a pretty solid team overall. It's just
And they had some busts, with their new
they
quarterbacks, Bailey Zappi, was it Mac Jones or
yeah, Mac Jones. They weren't able to find a good quarterback afterwards. It's kind of hard to do anything.
Yeah, yeah,
One
true.
thing I
They
will
all
say
are.
about him is he has a terrible track record finding good receivers. So you can't blame him for that because like Nikhil Harry, pretty mediocre receiver that they drafted in the first round, stuff like that. But
yeah.
still a good coach. I think.
Well, do you guys want to make our own mock draft together? Let's
Not really. I don't. I'm not familiar with it, man. You and Alex can. I don't know. I kind of like
Yeah,
like
well,
my predictions that this website has. It was actually super similar to mine. Like aside from quarterbacks, Marvin Harris Jr. is the first person I had going.
yeah, and his dad is like a Hall of Famer in the NFL as well, so he's got a lot to live up to.
Yeah, I think you do it though. This website that I'm on, the CBS one that you shared, they have him going to the Chargers. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
I haven't heard a lot from the
I
Chargers
mean,
recently.
I think he could go to the Arizona, if Arizona decides not to trade, but and the Cardinals do need a receiver, so because they have Kyler Murray, they have a pretty good quarterback, pretty decent O-line. They just have no, real weapons to throw the ball to.
It's
So I think
definitely
that's their biggest
the
need.
best player.
But they could trade down and draft someone like Rome, Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors or something, and still have a pretty decent receiver, and then have an extra round pick for next year. So
Let's talk about
another
Malik
first
Neighbors
round.
real quick. They have him going to the Giants. I think that's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out on Thursday where everyone does
Yeah,
go.
we'll
I'm
do a
excited.
second episode of the podcast after that comes out.
Yeah.
Drew.
But, I am really excited for this draft. I really hope we get Jaden Daniels at number 2. So, do you think the first 4 picks are going to be Caleb Williams, Drake, and McCarthy? Not necessarily in that order, but do you think that's what's going to
It's gonna be
happen? Or
close as can be. If it's not all four, it's gonna be three of them. You know what I mean? Because like JJ McCarthy didn't he win the national championship this year?
Yeah, he
I
won
think
with Michigan
Yeah.
with Jim Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Jim
I think
Harbaugh is actually got hired as the coach for the Chargers. So what is also really interesting is what if Jim Harbaugh wants to draft JJ McCarthy?
I don't
he's
know.
not going to
I
do
said
that,
I don't know
man.
how possible it is.
They have Justin Herbert, man. They would not do that. They'd
I
be the
know they
dumbest thing
trade
ever.
Justin Herbert to get or
I know,
have
I know. He said that he thinks
Justin
that
be
JJ
a
McCarthy is the best
mentor.
quarterback in the draft, but JJ McCarthy he's a good player, but he didn't have to do much, man. They had a pretty stacked
Yeah, he
team.
just
He
handed
didn't
off
have
the
to do
ball
very
pretty
much.
much.
But yeah, he's. I think it's
He's the college version
very
of Brock
boxable.
Purdy. Alex is a big Brock Purdy hater.
I love Brock Purdy's story. The last pick in the entire draft. Your quarterback gets injured, your backup gets injured, your other backup gets injured. So you have to play. They had I think who was it? Christian McCaffrey play quarterback for a couple plays, and then they were like, no, we can't have him get hurt. So they put in Brock Purdy, and then he won game after game in the playoffs and won the starting position. Like I think that is so cool being Mr. Irrelevant, like usually a Mr. Irrelevant never even gets to play a down in the NFL. But the fact that he did came in so clutch and like has really made a
He took
name
to the
for
Super Bowl
himself
the
is
next year
yeah,
crazy. And he only gets paid like $900,000 a year, which is, it's
yeah.
still a lot, but for like
for a
Super
last
Bowl
pick.
quarterback, a
Yeah.
Super Bowl caliber quarter.
Going to the
He'll
Super
getting
Bowl,
he'll
not
be
winning the Super
getting
Bowl.
paid a lot in a few years, man.
Yeah,
After he
he
wins the
will be
MVP
getting a
next
raise.
year, I think he's probably gonna win the MVP. I think he's a super good player, probably the best player in the league, close to
I
it
don't
at
know.
least.
I don't know about
Behind
best player in the league.
yeah, not the best player in the league. I meant to say one of the best players in the league. Probably top five quarterback, I think. He's not good with Patrick Mahomes like that, but
Think
he's
Josh
pretty
Allen
good,
might be a
man.
little bit better. Patrick Mahomes,
Pretty pretty
Lamar Jackson.
pretty underrated, I think though.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes is definitely better, but everyone knows it's
everyone knows that. That goes without saying.
people are sleeping on Brock Purdy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else we got though? Kind of got sidetracked a little bit on that one.
Oh yeah. So Malik Neighbors, pretty good. Joe Alt, the tackle. Honestly, I don't really watch a lot of college football. I have just like been following the draft because I
But
care a lot
going
about
back to
the
the Mason
NFL
Rudolph thing though, man, an O lineman.
for the. Oh yeah, because Mason Rudolph's on the Titans,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Interesting,
that'd
man.
be good. You know,
I think the Titans might draft a quarterback, dude. I don't know.
Roma Odunze to the Bears, dude. The Bears next year with Caleb Williams, DJ Moore. They get neighbors or no, if they get Roma Odunze, they're going to be scary. And that whole division is going to be insane.
It's
Like
actually like really
I think
exciting. Like the same way, kind of like the Browns and the Detroit Lions were doing good this past season. If the Bears can also go up there, man, the Midwest is going to be reckoned with, man. That's so exciting.
dude, I know, like think about it. We had the Lions who they were so bad for so long, but they almost made it to the Super Bowl this year. They have been on fire. The Packers, they upset and destroyed the Cowboys, and they made a ton of really great off-season moves. The Bears are they're in line to get some really, really, really good players. The hype behind Caleb Williams is like he's Patrick Mahomes level good. Like actually. And so and then the Vikings, who are probably going to get JJ McCarthy or something. It's going to be, I think, an incredible division to watch. And like, just, I have no idea who's going to win that division. It could be, honestly, any four of them. They're all going to be really exciting to watch. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I know
More,
there's like it's like a
more so
curse.
than any division in the NFL. I think that's going to be like the most competitive.
Yeah, I don't say cursed, but it's like you never know how good the first pick's ever going to be. But Caleb Williams is pretty cool, man. I've seen a lot of his attitude's good. He's a good ball player. I think this is going to be really, really good season for the Bears. After last
It
year.
definitely worked out pretty well for them in the last year after being pretty bad, but it's looking up, man. What do you think about the NFC East, man? It's kind of there's a lot of good teams in there. The Giants, I don't know. They're kind
you're a
of
big
in a
Dallas
weird place
fan.
right now.
You
I
are
am.
not a Dallas fan.
The Cowboys are probably my second favorite team behind them.
Dude, you say every team's your second favorite team.
Yeah. The Cowboys
all
are like the
tied.
biggest. Whatever the opposite of a clutch is, that's what the Cowboys are, man. They had
They're
such
the
a good
biggest
season.
chokesters.
Chokesters,
man.
yeah, man. This past season,
When they lost in the playoffs,
Didn't they lose to the Packers?
To a
Packers, man,
7 seed. It was the first time a
I
7
was
seed
real
has
sad.
ever beat a one.
It's the second year 7 seed has existed, but technically true.
Well, wait
It is
10 years,
technically
Alex.
true,
See what
but
happens.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think here's my prediction. I think the Cowboys are going to win the division. That's not what I want to happen.
Oh, they probably are going
And then
to.
the Commanders are going to be in second.
No.
Eagles in third. Giants in last.
I
You think the Eagles are going to be that bad?
I think we're going to have the edge on them just a little bit. You know, we got Dan Quinn. We got all these old Cowboy players. Our defense is going to be really good next year. We got some, you know, it depends how the draft goes, but I'm really excited. I think we're going to be at least be better than the Giants. At least be better than the Giants. Please, at least just be better than the
You
Giants.
think you probably will be better than Giants? You think Dan Quinn's going to is going to give you the edge over the Eagles, man? Dan Quinn,
I mean, the Eagles are a little
Mister
overrated.
couldn't do anything with the Falcons.
You know, we almost beat the Eagles twice this season, and then the refs kind of screwed us over. But
What do y'all think the NFC East is like the most like kind of like wild card division just because of the you know Drake May potentially going to the Commanders, Eagles kind of getting some new stuff. Do you think like I can't remember who won last year? The Eagles? The Eagles for sure did. Or was it the
no,
Cowboys?
the
Or
Cowboys,
Cowboys
the
won?
Cowboys and Eagles both made playoffs, but
Okay.
the Cowboys won the division by one
Gotcha.
game.
Because the
But,
Eagles choked it in and started losing every game.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were 10-0, and then they finished the season 12-5,
coming off a Super
losing
Bowl,
to
that's
even
crazy.
the Cardinals. Like, that's crazy. I think what's really going to be another good division next year is going to be the AFC East. The Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and Patriots. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, how that's going to go. The Bills.
I don't think it's gonna go well. As big of an Aaron Rodgers fan as I am, like I don't think it's gonna work out. But he's just so old, and that was his,
Yeah,
was his
But
ACL?
he's got to be better than Zach Wilson. Like,
Yeah,
let's-
you're
and
right, you're
and
definitely.
you know, Zach Wilson was an awful quarterback, but they still went 7-10. Like,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right, you're right.
imagine if they had Rodgers. They only needed to win 3 more games to be in contention for playoffs, and
I just think Aaron Rodgers has to be decent, man. They have a dude. I think it depends on the offensive line again, like I said before, but their defense is super good, like really
yeah,
good.
the Jets defense is really good. So.
There's a reason they managed to win 17 with Zach Wilson.
Because their defense carried.
Zach Wilson is terrible. So as long as
If you have a half decent quarterback, like half as good as Aaron Rodgers, you're still going to be a better team than you were last season.
yeah.
So,
Listen, man,
but-
they
and
could
the
have signed Jimmy
Dolphins-
G or somebody.
I
They
think
would've done
the
well.
Patriots are still going to be like up for debate whether how that goes. You know, I guess
We're
they're in a
still in the
similar
AFC East, right?
situation as the Commanders, but you know, I feel like we made a lot more off-season moves, and
Neither of y'all have
we have,
mentioned
like, a
the
fresh
Bills
start.
yet, man. I'm surprised you're not a bigger Bills fan than you are.
I love
Alex.
the Bills. I
Just
love the
I don't
because
Bills.
you like Syracuse, man. They're like vaguely near each other.
Listen, man, I'm a big Yankee up north, but I hate the Bills, man. My whole family.
The Bills
bunch of
are your
Patriots-
second favorite team.
Bunch of Patriots fans. The Patriots are probably my third favorite team. I'm a
Oh
big
my!
Tom
I
Brady
do
fan,
really like Josh
but I
Allen.
don't like
man.
the
Josh
Bills.
Allen is so cool. What a story!
I
Wasn't he walk
think
on
the
in
Bills
college?
are
player.
so much fun to watch.
Super fun player.
I
They're-
honestly, hot take. I wish he got offensive MVP as opposed to Lamar Jackson. I think he got it. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's because he's kind of inconsistent. The Bills are kind of chokesters. Like
But it's
they're
not
like
his
they're like the
fault, though,
Cowboys
man.
of the North, I think. But
The Cowboys
No,
of the
it's-
North is
it's-
crazy.
I think it's true, man. They always have lots of hype, but they always manage to choke the big game.
Yeah, the Bills are just the AFC Cowboys. Like they always
That's
choke.
crazy.
That is true, man.
Yeah, he has a pretty high interception rate too,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
Another division to look out for. Let's see.
I don't know, man. I think the Panthers can win the
NFC
division.
South.
If the Panthers win the NFC South, man, we're making some dang money on FanDuel.
Dude, if the
That
Panthers
is
win the
true.
Super Bowl, what are the odds right now? The odds at to
Well,
win
they're
the Super
actually
Bowl?
horrible, but it's not going to happen. There's no chance it happens. But
There was
would
an
be
AI
interesting.
thing I saw like maybe a month ago that said the AI predicted that the Carolina Panthers beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl next year.
I think
It was an AI prediction.
Didn't you
Yeah,
or our
that's
buddy
what's crazy.
Hunter place a bet that's like if they go 16-0, you get like 10 grand or something crazy on the Panthers?
I think Hunter thought about it, but I don't think he ended up not doing it. But
Okay.
it's the chance of that happening is pretty slim. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's impossible. It has to be, man.
it'd be
I
crazy
feel
if it
bad.
happened. Like
I
it
feel
didn't
bad.
even happen the year that the Cam Newton won the MVP. So why would it happen this year?
True.
It's
That would
it's
be
so
really
hard to
funny.
feel
Hey,
like
I'd be all for it unless they beat.
I feel so bad for
Commanders.
Bryce Young, man. I really think like he's
just
such
got
a good,
put in a
he's-
really
he-
bad
Yeah, he's such a
situation.
good player, and the fact that the Panthers aren't good and the owner sucks. They
the
traded away
the
all
offense
You got-
the
Panthers
offense
are
was
just the
so
new-
bad last year.
I think the Panthers are just the new Commanders. You know, like if you think about it, crappy owners, crappy O-line, crappy team,
You
crappy
wish.
everything, and making
David
bad
David Tepper has made
decisions.
some bad
And look,
decisions.
we're you know a
but
lot
he's
of
not Dan Schneider, man.
Dan
He is
Snyder, not
Dan.
Schneider, different Dan.
Exactly.
But both just as bad.
I don't know.
Both
Man.
are
He
pretty
ain't over
bad.
yet. He's only been on for what, a year or two. It can only go
Who?
worse. It can only get worse.
It's been like 5 years.
Oh, it's been that long. Wow. Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you gave us Ron Rivera, you gave us Curtis Samuel, you gave us Frankie Louvu, and we got
it
rid
really
of all of
worked
them
out,
except
did it?
Frankie Louvu. No, it didn't.
Oh, okay. He has,
If
he has done
anything,
it for
I
a
guess
while. Never mind, I'm sorry.
Commanders. Yeah. Well, yeah.
listen, David Tepper has made some bad decisions, but at least he cares about winning. He's willing to spend money to not have their players sit on fucking some cold ass benches or whatever it was with that stupid stuff.
I don't know, man. I kind of like the part where he threw a drink at the one at a Jaguar
Oh yeah,
stand.
That was pretty funny.
that was pretty funny. Like, come
He is
on,
kind of
bro.
he is kind
And
of
then not
trash,
even
dude.
in your home stadium. You were at Jacksonville.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
Kind of crazy. He's definitely a prick, but at least he cares about the team winning.
I guess you were already guaranteed to not make playoffs. Like, why are you so mad? Just
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
They won 2 games
you were
this year.
You won 2 games.
Both by 2 points.
Yep.
Uh,
Neither of them
We're
had
the
a
only team.
touchdown.
I think we're like the only team ever who didn't have a minute winning in regulation. Because both our wins were end of the game field goals.
Yeah.
So even though
The
Browns did
Falcons
better.
and the Texans. What I think is kind of cool is how Bryce Young did manage to beat C.J. Stroud. And C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, they have some history. They used to be high school rivals, rival teams. Then they played each other in college. And, you know, while the Panthers may have lost like almost every game this year, and the
It probably-
Texans won a playoff game, one of their 2 wins, half of their wins, he did beat C.J. Stroud.
True, you're correct there, but I
Yeah,
bet
it's
like
true.
on top of everything, like the fact that he didn't do very good, he was like 3rd or 4th worst in touchdowns or something crazy. Threw a bunch of interceptions. The fact that his buddy CJ did so good, man, I bet that sucks for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I
kinda
almost
suck. It's a bad
wonder how it would
scoreline
have been
difference
with
between
if
the
those picks were swapped, you know? Like, would CJ have put on the same
We can do what ifs on
performance?
episode
two.
2.
Definitely
man.
not.
We can do what ifs on episode
Yeah.
2, but we're coming up on the hour mark. You guys want to do some closing
Yeah,
remarks?
let's have do our closing thoughts. So
You can go first,
honestly,
Ferris.
I'm really excited for this upcoming season. Especially the draft here in a couple days. I'm also really looking forward to next year for High Point. I think especially if Coach Huss stays around and all our players stay around, I think we're gonna have a really good season. It's gonna be a shame I won't be here in person to and get to stay in the student section, watch those games, but I'll be rooting for him and I'm excited. So
Oh, depending on the
just
time
good
this.
things to come, hopefully. Good things to come, hopefully. And I'm ready to be disappointed.
Yeah. Well, Ferris, pause
What
real quick.
about
Pause.
let's go to you, Zane. What
Pause
are
real quick,
your
Ferris. Pause
final
real quick.
thoughts?
Just look on the bright side, Ferris. If this podcast doesn't get out on time, you might be better next year.
Hey, maybe.
Anyway,
That's so messed up.
anyway, all right, Ferris. Right, ready? 3, 2. Yeah, my final thoughts are just like I'm really excited for this next season. I just recently got back into football after many years of just being kind of busy. But as weekends free, we'll be able to watch some games with the boys. I think it's going to be really fun. I really enjoy watching kind of like the underdog teams like the Lions, like the Browns. So I think maybe watching the Bears this coming year. Of course, the
Bears
biggest
are not
underdog in
underdogs.
basketball this season was freaking NC State. So if High Point and NC State can have a good season next year, I'm going to be really excited. What about you, Alex?
I'm really excited, man. Hopefully Syracuse can do a bit better this year. Maybe make the tournament. We'll see.
I'm making you choose real
Uh,
quick, Alex. What's your favorite team between the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Steelers? Because I know you have a lot of favorites.
Listen, man, my Panthers are definitely my favorite, but in terms of the draft, we're not picking on the first day anyway, so I'm gonna be pay attention to. The Cowboys are probably my second favorite team, to be honest.
I
Steelers probably
did
third.
not know that, and I wish I didn't know that.
Well, you got. I love the Cowboys, man. The reason I don't talk about it around you is because I know you're a big Commanders fan, and I don't want to
Yeah, the Commanders Cowboys.
You
That's
know,
such a rivalry.
make you feel bad about how the
Oh,
Cowboys
yeah.
always win. I just
They're-
love the Cowboys, man. Dak Prescott is pretty good. Probably should be the highest paid, one of the higher paid quarterbacks in the league. He's a great player.
He is pretty good. Like
I
don't. I think he gets overlooked a lot, but he's not the worst for how. I don't know. They didn't do bad this past season. It's just the playoffs that kind of nutted.
Yeah.
If you look
They do
past
good.
that-
They do good every year, but every year
They
it's
always
the year
find
for
a
the
way to
Cowboys,
screw it up.
and they always choke, man. I'm so disappointed the Cowboys choke.
Just like the Bills.
I just love the Cowboys so much, man.
I know you like Cowboys, man. They'll do good this year.
Yeah, so
We'll work out.
any more final thoughts, Alex?
That's about it, man. I'm looking forward to the draft, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what my favorite teams do.
Yeah,
Really exciting.
appreciate everybody listening. We should have an episode 2
Yeah,
out by
thank you for
Friday.
listening.
So if everyone checks our stuff on Friday, we should have an episode going up about the first couple drafts, seeing what's going on, seeing any updates with trades and free agencies.
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
thank you all for listening to the Ferris Files. Everyone say goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you,
See you next
everyone.
week.
See you guys.
See ya. Thank you. That's a wrap.